the Everything But Politics podcast.
Man, I love being back in person. This is Everything But Politics, episode 156. Dom Iacovone. Dom, how are you, brother?
Good, how are you?
It's good to be with you, man.
Pleasure to be here.
How is dad life?
It's a lot. You know, I think it's one of those things that people like. It's the greatest thing in the world by far, but it's a fucking lot. It's a lot.
Well, entrepreneurship, dad life, scaling, what, how many companies?
A lot.
A lot.
Like, realistically, like large scale companies, I would say there's 5.
Okay.
5 large scale companies.
So you got a lot going on.
Yeah.
What is like a typical schedule like in your day? Like I think about our schedules and then I think about yours with a young son and like talk to us about that.
Sure, yeah. So I mean it's evolves, right? Like I think I've learned a lot on how to manage time, especially after having a son. So my day usually starts around like 5:30 in the morning. I get up, I'll just like have a coffee, work out, come in, I'll eat something and I'll spend time with Enzo until probably like 8-ish, and then I go to the office. So from then on, I'm in the office, and usually, full transparency, I try to get home by like 6:30, but usually it bleeds into like the 7:30 hour. So I usually don't get to see him at night. If I do, it's usually for like a quick 20 minutes before he goes to bed. But, you know, I'm still building team in some of the companies. Like we just acquired 3D Energy, so I've been really working hard on building team there. But traditionally, structurally, I'm usually done by 5. So if everything is built out the way I like it, I'm done at 5 and I can be home with the fam. But, you know, right now it's just having a 1-year-old and I'm really trying to spend as much time as I can with him, you know, and it's a lot, dude. You know, it's a lot of balancing. And as a new wife too, a new mother, my wife also requires a lot of attention from me because, you know, having a kid as a female, right, you go from having all your friends and all these people you're talking to all the time to basically talking to someone who can't talk back to you. You know, like my wife spends 90% of her time with a little kid that has no understanding of anything. So she wants my attention and she wants to talk to somebody when I get home, and it's a lot, man, but it's the most rewarding thing that I've ever gone through, and I would not change any of it for the world.
It's been beautiful to see the content and kind of like the day in the life kind of vlog material, but obviously family is extremely important. You can tell we're super family oriented. For sure. This shows me and my brothers, we talk every single day. We do pretty much everything together. I know family is also really important in your life. I know your mom is kind of like a mentor. Yes. You even have her as a CEO. Yep. Well, what is that relationship outside of her just being your mom, but also like a business partner in many senses? Yeah,
you know, it's funny because I always looked up to my mom since I was born. You know, I think ultimately I started to see my mom, her career was really cool. So my mom started as a cashier at BJ's Wholesale Club, and she worked her way up to be the vice president of the company. So we weren't like the most well-off family when I was little, but I visually saw my life change and our lives change based off of the amount of effort my mom was putting into her job, right? And seeing her like climb that corporate ladder and her career getting better and better. And it was one of those things where, like, you know, when people say like you can teach anyone anything by like just showing them versus like saying it, you know, I see a lot of value in who I am today because of what I witnessed as a child, not what someone told me to do or told me how to act, or I just watched her do it. So doing that, it kind of made me realize, number one is I don't want to do that type of work for anyone else. You know, I've seen her make a lot of people really wealthy, and I said, if I'm going to work as hard as she did, I'm just going to do it for myself. I'm not going to do it for anyone else. And it's funny now that shifted, because now I feel like I'm doing it for my employees, because I'm in a place now where I really don't need, you know, any more monetary things, but it's cool to be able to bring those like day one people along and kind of take care of them. But my mom as a CEO she's like, you know, my mom is tough. Like, she's very tough. And I still have lessons today that I learn from her on a daily basis. And, you know, she'll argue that, you know, I've exceeded what she's ever been able to do. But I would argue that, you know, the lessons that I bounce off of her, the things that I see her do to this day are making me make some of the most valuable decisions still to this day. So I'm still learning from her.
I know this podcast slaps, but Apollo Celine's new song, Mind, Heart, Soul, slaps even harder. Available now on all streaming platforms. Now back to the show.
And what was the ultimate decision to create the vlog and show your personal life?
It was for my son.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I want him to go back one day and be able to see like more of me when, you know, if I'm not here or something, to just be able to go back to all the time.
Or like, yeah, you could, instead of like a little picture when we were kids, you could really see.
You can watch him and listen to him.
Yeah, and he can see himself too.
I like that. Yeah,
That's cool. Yeah,
you're in like a really unique position in life where your kind of goals now are just to uplift.
Yeah,
meaning all your businesses align with uplifting, whether it be health and wellness, people in your family, people who work for you. There's this a position of lifting people up and empowering them to do great things.
Yeah, it's probably the coolest thing ever, honestly, because, you know, you get to a point in life where you like, I hate to say it, but like once you have the cool shit's not cool. You know, like, it takes getting there to figure that out. But truly, like, you know, there's only so many cars you can have, and, you know, they go away. And like now I'm building that for Enzo. Like everything I'm doing is for other people, I feel like at this point. And it's gotten to that point recently where, yeah, you know, like I get to pick and choose what I want to do, who I want to do it with, where I want to do it. And I think that ultimately sets you up to live a really passionate life, you know, but it also sets you up to really start figuring out what matters and really just focusing on those things.
Well, with like going through those trials and tribulations of like things, possessions don't like mean that much.
Yeah.
Having those and not having those, when you look back at everything, were you hungrier when you had nothing to lose, or now that you have everything to lose?
That's a good question. I think hungrier is a tough way to explain it, because having a kid makes you so hungry to just provide. Like there's like a switch that flips or however it works, but I've never been hungrier to win than I am now, because I think like you play a game to a certain level and then you get to the next level and you're like, fuck, I want to win this game too, right? So like now we won like the small time stuff, and now I want to win in like the $1 billion space, right? And that's like very much like the disruptive part of me, where I want to go into somewhere that's like super clean and like exactly how it's been for 20 years and just go in and fuck it all up and make it new. And that's like kind of like my mentality as far as like disrupting, you know, categories that haven't been disrupted in a long time. But I will say I'm much more risk adverse now than I was before, because I have a kid and because I have a lot more to lose. So like I look back at some of the decisions I made when I was younger, and those decisions are decisions that got me to where I am today. And I look back and I'm like, fuck, I don't know if I would have done that now.
You're a little less prone to roll the dice now than you were 10 years ago.
Correct.
And now, if we were doing this conversation with 25-year-old Dom, who would that guy be? Who would we be talking to?
Same, except a little more like, not as polished. So like I was much more aggressive. I was, you know, willing to do whatever it took to get what I wanted, and I still am in a different way. I would say like you would look at me back then and you would almost look at me as like a one-man wrecking crew, where I would get shit done by any means necessary, but then there'd be a team of people behind me picking my shit up behind me, because that's just what I needed at the time. I was at like a 0 to 100 all the time, get it done, move as fast as possible, and it's what got me here. Like I'm not going to argue and lie and say I don't regret any of it. But what I have learned, and what I have learned through this industry and just business and people and, you know, being around long enough, is that, you know, I have the ability to get a lot more out of what I need by being a little more calm. I don't need to be as aggressive. I think that I've proven myself in my work ethic. So, you know, my name carries weight now where it didn't before, where I had to kind of just like be scrappy because no one knew who the fuck I was. But yeah, you know, I think that my 25-year-old self to myself now, I think the vision was the same. You know, I think I really knew I was going to be here one day. I knew when I was 18, I was going to be here one day. Did I know it was going to be as big as it is? Maybe not. But I always had like this clear vision in my head of what I wanted my life to look like.
Well, you say that at 18. So that's an interesting age, 18, right? At 18, I was like that. I just got to college. Like I was smoking weed all the time, drinking. Like I was like not doing anything productive with my life. And until we started this show, which was August 2022, is like when I started having some kind of vision, right? And you said 18, you always knew you were going to be here. What's the light bulb moment, like that I'm going to be someone, I'm going to create this, and I'm going to do this? Like what was that for you personally?
Yeah, so I always have been like entrepreneurial since I was a younger kid. So that wasn't really it. I think the light bulb moment for me was I lost someone who was like a very, very important person in my life, and it was my step grandpa. So it was my grandmother's second marriage, and he was like the guy who really showed me like how to be a man. You know, like I don't have the best relationship with my dad, but he was like my, you know, taught me how to fish, taught me how to ride a bike, taught me how to shoot a gun, taught me how to do everything, and always had my back. Like I vividly remember one day I was shooting a BB gun behind his house, and I blew out a window of his neighbor's house, like fucking shot, blew up the window. And, you know, he was fucking mad at me, but I'll never forget, like I was in the house and the neighbors called the cops on us, and the cops came, and he basically told the cops to get the fuck off the property because, you know, he had no proof or whatever that it was us. And I was like, damn, like he like rode for me, you know, like that guy, like he didn't need to do that. He could have made me own it up, but like that was the beginning of something super special in the bond that we had. And he passed away from ALS when I was like around 17 or 18 years old. And that was like the light bulb of like, I got to lock in. Like I want to make him proud. And that's how I kind of got into the medicine side of it. Cause my undergrad is in molecular microbiology. My doctorate's in that. So that was like I need to like lock the fuck in and make something of my life. Mm-hmm. And then from there, it kind of just got bigger and my ideas got bigger. And I remember I was in school, I was in my doctorate program, and I literally drew out like my first like warehouse space with the gym and the medical, and like I did it all on like and I have it, like I did it at a table with one of the kids that I still talk to today. So it was always there, and it was always just like one thing that I've always said about myself that's unique is like I can see shit before other people can see it. Mm-hmm. Like I can envision like what Raw was going to be, or what Revive was going to be, or what Relive was going to be when people didn't even understand like how it was going to get there. I kind of just like figured that out.
What was like the point to like start multiple companies? Because one is hard enough.
Yeah.
Then to go 2 or 3. What gave you the confidence to keep expanding?
I think like when you really like understand business, I think it's very unique that it's all the same. It's just different stuff. Now, there's obviously a difference between like service-based companies and like CPG, right? Like there's a very unique difference between those two. But like the heart and soul of business is building a culture behind what you're doing, fixing a problem for somebody, and then really building want for it, right? Like making it so cool or so unique, or people believing in the brand so much that they just want to support whatever it is. And it's really easy to do in the health and wellness field because you're actually helping people and you're changing people's lives. And I would argue that like, even though my businesses are very different, like they're different companies, they're all under like a very unique umbrella of health and wellness. So they kind of like synergistically work with each other. And people who know Raw, like they know all the other brands. Like they know Revive, they know 3D, they know Bum Energy, they know Relive. And it's funny to see like how it all kind of works together.
Well, you joined like this space at a really interesting time. Like I feel when our parents, like our dad's 59, our mom's 52 or 3, like this was supplement space was not a thing.
No,
like they were. I don't even think protein powder was a thing then. Like when did you kind of see that like avenue to kind of skirt yourself in?
Dude, honestly, like I never wanted to get into the sports nutrition space. So we started. The way the company started was Relive was first. That was my medical offices. Mm-hmm. And then I met a guy named Matt Jansen, and Matt Jansen is like a nutritionist, like professional athletes and bodybuilders. And that's when I wanted to start Revive MD, which was basically like my vitamin company, right? And what made us unique in that space was we used to we still do, we third-party test all of our products. So if you buy like a vitamin D, you could go online, you could type in your batch number, and the COA for that product would pop up, and it would show full transparency, the testing on the product, how much was in it, how there's no artificial bullshit, like everything in there, right? And that took off because we were like the first people to do that in vitamins. Like no one else used to publish third-party results. No one used to test the stuff. It was kind of like a gray area, right? You just had to trust the label. So when we did that, people loved sports nutrition, and they were like, hey, you guys should make a protein. You guys should make a pre-workout. And like the marketing doesn't work the same. Like a clinical vitamin and bodybuilding pre-workout and protein, like you don't market those the same. So it was always like, I don't want to do it. It's super saturated, but also it's like a very different audience. And then from there, I was like, if we do get into this space, because we kept getting asked over and over and over. So it was like one of those things where like, fuck, do we do it or do we not do it? And then I turned to Matt and I was like, if we do this, I'm only doing it if we have somebody that will take us from like 0 to 100 overnight, because the space is too saturated. There's too many brands in it. And that's where Chris came in. So Chris Bumstead. So that's when we reached out to Chris, and he was with another company. And I said, hey, look, I know you're probably making a fortune, but here's what I want to do. Here's when I want to do it. Let me know if you're interested. And ultimately he said yes. And then the rest was kind of history.
When you're reaching out to someone of that magnitude, what is like the best way to even cold outreach?
Yeah,
So
it wasn't cold. So he was already an athlete for Revive because he was on the vitamins. So very unique situation because Matt used to coach Chris's brother-in-law for bodybuilding.
The one that got him into lifting.
Correct.
Okay.
Ian. And we reached out to Ian, and Chris has a kidney issue. He has an autoimmune disease. Yeah. So we had our first product was called Kidney. And when we started the vitamin company, what was unique about it is in the bodybuilding space, nobody made vitamins. So like all these high level athletes like Chris and, at the time there was a few other ones like Callum Von Mogel, all those guys, their contracts didn't have vitamins in them because their companies that they were with didn't make them. So it was so easy for us to go in and say, hey, we'll throw you an extra $2,500 a month to promote our vitamin line. And they would be like, well, fuck yeah, because it's an extra $2,500 for them and it doesn't interfere with their contract. So they're just making extra money to promote a product. So the way that we launched Revive was really unique in the sense that the people that we had from the beginning, the big names we got, we probably couldn't have afforded if it was a company that also made pre-workout and protein because it would be in conflict with all of those people's non-competes.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how we started it. And that's how we got Chris. And then obviously once you get Chris, it's very easy to get other people because most people want to just be involved with whatever he's doing.
Did you find that the athletes really enjoyed the products you were making? Like,
if they didn't, they had to go immediately. There were definitely, athletes that had big names that were great, that made money for the brand. But like, I'm very big on like, being full transparent and like when people aren't taking the products but they're just getting the money for it, it's very easy to see like not being genuine in that sense on like a social standpoint. And then also like there's just no room for that in growing like a really organic brand. It's true.
Well, especially like it's like a one-term sale. Like you want people not selling, but you want people to invest in your brand for life.
Well, you want, because at the end of the day, the products are supposed to improve their health, right? Yeah. So if they're taking them and their health is improving, they're going to promote it because they want you to feel good too.
Yeah, and the other piece you have to think about is somebody in that position, right? Like if you're bringing someone on, they're not using the product and they're happily doing it, that means they're only doing it for what reason?
The money.
And what happens when the next company comes that offers them a little bit more money?
They're going to take it.
Exactly, and I don't want that. I don't want to build my brand on the back of somebody who's going to jump to the next company who offers them an extra $10. I want to build it off of people who love the product. So it was very easy for me to say, like, I understand that there's value in him now, but I know what's going to happen if he keeps building this brand and then he jumps to the next ship that's offering him an extra 20 or 30 bucks a month or $1,000 a month. It ruins the credibility of my brand because then I have to get someone else in there and rebuild on them, which is why, like, to this day, if we feel like someone's not like the right fit and we feel like they're only there for the wrong reasons, we immediately pull them.
That's smart.
Dom, outside of like looking at someone's blood work, what are some supplements that like everyone should take? Like Ethan and I and Merrick, we take what?
Creatine every day.
And collagen.
Yeah, those are all great.
And magnesium.
Yeah, magnesium is obviously like the most popular supplement probably ever right now, including creatine, right? Creatine's blown up.
And collagen in our coffee.
Collagen is great. One I've done a lot of is my buddy Matt owns Cowboy Colostrum. So I've been doing a little bit of colostrum. My wife actually puts it in my smoothie in the morning, and I like that.
It's for like gut health, right?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And then honestly, like on the clinical side, I would say vitamin D is one of the most important. Omega-3 is obviously super critically important for just like anti-aging and just health of the human body. And then like for you guys, I would say like just a decent multivitamin, something that just kind of hits all the boxes is fine. But there's a lot of overkill. And if you look at Revive, like our products are very specific to specific needs. So you'll see like we have a heart product, we have a lipid product, we have a kidney product, we have a liver product. And those are meant for more people who are, either have issues in those departments. So have cardiovascular issues, have cholesterol issues. And what we've done is we've just taken all of the ingredients that are really good for those individual concerns and putting them into one product versus having to buy 100 bottles of something.
Like for someone listening right now who doesn't exactly know what Revive is or what it does and how it can benefit their health, how would you explain it to them?
Yeah, I mean, it's actually really unique. So this is pretty cool. We can launch into it, but we're ultimately fixing problems based on blood work, right? So the vitamin company, which is Revive MD, does the same, and then Relive, the medical company, does it with prescription. That's the easiest way to explain both, right? And the goal is to let you live optimally forever. So if you look at like replacement versus optimal, a lot of people think like when you're going to your doctor to get testosterone replacement therapy, that's really not to make you live optimally. It's meant to make you okay, right? Our goal is not to make you okay. It's to make you like perform at like 100%.
Right,
So for example, if someone's like bottom level, right?
Yeah.
The T just gets you
Yeah.
to mediocre level.
Correct.
So for what you guys do is take them to the optimal
Correct.
peak level.
Yeah, the peak level without any contraindications to care. So like we're going to bring you like a traditional primary care physician might say that an average testosterone level of a 400 is okay. But the average testosterone level of a 27-year-old is probably between 700 and 900. We're going to get you to that 700 and 900 and we're going to monitor you to make sure that obviously there's no issues with you being there. But that's what we do for everything. So your growth hormone, all your different markers in the body, like we have a biological age testing that we can do now. We have some crazy stem cell treatments that we can do. And the goal is really it's a premium service. There's no doubt about it. It's not cheap, but for people who want to live as long as they possibly can and have the best quality of life, that's exactly what we're here for.
How many clients do you think you've had lifetime?
Oh man. We have 32 locations open now, and we have another, I think 150 opening in the next 24 months. So I would say as of right now, average office probably, and this is like concurrent. So people who are on a monthly, I'd say the average office has between 300 and 700 patients. So there's a substantial amount.
Well, you know what's interesting? I would think that your personal brand now, especially being that you've been more outwardly, you really attract like the 20 to 45-year-old entrepreneur male. How are you reaching, especially given like this is like a longevity game?
Yep.
How are you marketing and reaching 45 plus?
Yeah, I think it's really easy because I think those are the people who are doing the most research on this, right? Like we obviously are into it because we've grown up in it. Like we are seeing it evolve in front of us, but the people who need it are the people that are 45 to 60. So those are the guys who are reaching us saying, hey, like Googling anti-aging, Googling stem cell therapy, you know, those are that boomer population per se is they're the ones who are actively researching versus we kind of know it. Like we already kind of understand stem cell. We understand testosterone. That older population needs a little bit more massaging to understand the difference because believe it or not, that population still relies heavily on their primary care physicians where like we don't. I know we probably.
I've been to the doctor in a long time.
Exactly. You know, and I do it all on my own. You know, I do my own Pernuvo scans. I do my own blood work. I kind of take everything into my own hands, and luckily, I own Relive. But it's the healthcare model has shifted so differently compared to the traditional healthcare model that our parents have grown up with. Like it's insane. Like my dad still goes to the same primary care physician that literally didn't even detect his cancer. Fucking 2 years before he had to get his kidney removed, and it's just like. Guys, that system is broken. It doesn't work.
Corrupted.
Of course.
You've been in this world for better half of a decade, yeah? So that's 2015, 2016-ish.
That office started in 2017.
How did your approach towards the health and wellness system change after COVID?
Dude, so first off, when I first opened in 2017, I was getting the police called on me because people thought I was like selling steroids out of my office because I was selling testosterone. Like, I'm not even exaggerating. Like, it was the craziest thing because this was like the age of Facebook marketing first starting, right? So I'm like 27, covered in tattoos, selling testosterone out of a doctor's office. So imagine like the average person was like, what the fuck is this kid doing? So ultimately, that was a very hard start. And then getting into COVID, I think opened up a lot of people's eyes. I think it was one of the, I hate to say the best things that ever happened, but I think it was a great tool to understand that, our healthcare system is absolutely broken. And like you said, it's very corrupt. And there's
food industry.
Everything.
Yeah.
I would argue that healthcare controls that.
They do.
Like, I would argue that these big pharma companies are also participating in that aspect of the shit food and all the different horrible things that we're putting into our bodies. But I think I've never seen in my life to this day right now more young kids caring about what they're putting in their body. I've never seen it. You're talking to kids who are talking about, going back to this like, all natural diet, no bullshit out of bags, eating just fruits and meats and like, name another 20-year-old kid when that never happened before, ever.
But the only thing that interests me, really fascinates me about like what you're doing, especially what you put into your body, like for us, we've taken the approach, we do like the minimum, especially with like diet, like we do the creatine just because like it's kind of one of those things, why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Minimal collagen, magnesium, electrolytes. But outside of that, like we don't eat really out of bags. We don't eat.
No bag, no box.
No box.
Exactly how it should be.
Meat, fruit.
But in terms of that, like at 25, they're 24. Do you recommend we stick with that, or do you think we could optimize even more so?
No, I mean, you're optimized right now. Like your body right now is the best it will ever probably be, right? So I think ultimately it's understanding and doing blood work to look back, every year I would say, and you're going to start seeing things going the other way, right? Like your testosterone levels will start to decrease. Your energy will start to, all those things will start to happen.
You noticed that personally?
Of course, absolutely.
What age?
For me, it was a little bit later. I would say it was probably like 31, 32.
How old are you now?
I'm 35.
Okay.
But that was me because I used to go, I still do, I go 100 miles an hour. So someone like yourself who's super healthy, it's beautiful because you're going to know immediately when something's off. You're gonna be like, fuck, man, I used to be able to work out and I used to do this and I would stay leaner and I don't know how the fuck I'm gaining all, like you're gonna know because you're so in tune with your body. The problem is when people are unhealthy, they don't know what feels good and what doesn't feel good. Funny. Like they don't understand, you don't know how good you feel unless you're healthy. And some people never get to that point, so they just think they're supposed to feel like shit forever. So for me, it was like, I know something's off because I'm not able to function like I used to. I can't work out as hard and recover as easy. And those were the things that kind of got me into it. And then your blood work reflects it. You start seeing your testosterone get lower. You start seeing some like inflammation markers go up. And then you're like, all right, now's the time to fucking fix this.
Well, you just mentioned recovery. And one of your vlogs recently, you mentioned how the bike was hurting your back. When you're dealing with things like that, or just like recovery in general, how do you... I'm going to use that. How do you optimize your recovery?
It's great. I mean, I would argue that I'm like an extremist, right? So like when I fall in love with something, like I fell in love with running, and I was running, up to almost 200 miles a month.
That's a lot.
And then I started to notice like really bad foot pain, really bad shin pain. So then I would like shift to biking, and then obviously my back and my hips started to hurt a little bit. So I'm trying to balance everything out in a way, but I'm also like understanding that I'm okay with having a little bit of pain because I understand the value of the exercise and I understand what that does for me mentally. But recovery for me is big. Like I bought the 8 Sleep. I'm all into it, man. Like, after having a kid, like your goals in life are just like, I want to live as long as I possibly can to see him grow up and to see him have kids and to see him, whatever, you just want to be there. So like everything I do now is like, should I do that? Is that going to take away from like a day with Enzo? Like that's literally how I think. And it's fucking wild to think like that because coming from how reckless I used to be, it's funny to look at, even like the new peptides that are coming out, like I'm a little more like risk adverse. I'm like, I'm going to wait on that one. Like, I don't know how great that is for you. I want to make sure it's not going to affect my health at all. So, I mean, I'm like into the 8 Sleep mattress, red light therapy, infrared sauna, cold plunging, twice a week massage, just anything that I can like mentally like convince myself is going to help me live longer. I'm all about.
On the hunt for legendary wings, Buffalo's in Bloomington, Indiana and Carmel, Indiana has you covered. Crowned top 10 wings in the nation by USA Today, our wings are a fan favorite. Dip into Mrs. Louie's famous sweet Q sauce for that sweet and tangy kick. Visit Buffalo's and wing it like a pro.
Beautiful.
Can you share more about peptides and their use?
Yeah, I mean, I like peptides, right? I think they're one of the most amazing medical advances in the world. And I also think that when Big Pharma is trying to take them off the market, that's a good thing. It means they're good for you. So like when I look at like the BPC, the TB500, like the recovery peptides, all of those I think are fantastic. A new one that just came out is KPV. GHK is another one for like hair, beauty, skin, anti-aging. All of those things are absolutely going to be a very big part of the medical space in the near future. And I do believe that they're going to be regulated a lot stronger, which I'm okay with as long as they're still available, right? Like I don't think there's a reason why there should not be regulation on drug, because I think that if you don't, there's problems. And I think people will take advantage of it, just like anything else in the world. But I think peptides will replace most medications, I would say, very soon.
What exactly are peptides?
Just they're amino acid peptide chains. So ultimately it's a different bundles of amino acids coming together to do different bodily functions. And the oldest one that you can think of, that I can think of, is HGH.
Is it, what form is it coming in? A powder, a pill?
It comes in, so both. It could be multiple ways. Like now you can actually get them in nasal sprays. Okay. You can get them in lozenges that go under your tongue, that dissolve under your tongue. You can get them in an injection with like an insulin needle, like a subcutaneous injection. Okay. And then you can also get them in inhalers. So it really depends on what you need. So for example, BPC is a great peptide for inflammation. I would say it's probably the biggest thing that it helps. Orally, it's great for your gut. So if people have like gut inflammation, issues with, diverticulitis, diverticulosis, great product to take orally. If like you're like me and you're running and you're abusing your body on a daily basis, it's great to take that like subcutaneously or put it where you have pain. And it really helps get rid of the inflammation in those areas.
When do you think you started first learning about peptides and then implementing them into your daily routine?
Yeah, so I started learning about them. I mean, they've been around a while. Like I said, growth hormone is technically a peptide, right? It's just patented. You can't make it in a compounding pharmacy. So I've known about them for a long time. And as they come out, I do a lot of research. There's a lot of peptides out there that have been out forever that I don't think they're not worth anything. I think they're just shitty peptides. But I think that now that you're seeing how dedicated our generation is to health, I think you're starting to see a lot more scientific approach to peptides, which is why you're getting a lot of cool ones coming out now. Like for example, the biggest one right now, I would argue, and I don't know if you would even call it a peptide, but is like your GLP-1s, your GLP-2s, and your GLP-3s, all the medical weight loss stuff, right? Like your Mounjaros, it's crazy, but like
is that like Ozempic?
Ozempic, yeah. So it's Ozempic, it's tirzepatide, and then there's a new one that just came out called retatrutide. So there's a GLP-1, GLP-2, and GLP-3. GLP. That's
like the medical term for
GLP-1, GLP-2, and GLP-3. Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
And those, are changing the landscape of obesity. I mean, you're seeing people who have never been able to lose weight ever losing 100 pounds in 3 or 4 months. And fixing a lot of issues along the way. So, there's definitely some concern that overdoing them can cause side effects, just like any other drug in the world. But doing them responsibly, is amazing for a lot of different things. It's amazing for your pancreas. It's amazing for your anti-aging, your blood sugar levels. So there's a great aspect to them.
So what is your opinion on Ozempic? Who should take it? Who shouldn't take it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think skinny people should take it.
No.
Right? Like you see people who take it that are unfortunately like have body dysmorphia and they end up looking terrible. They look like skeletons.
Yeah.
And then I also think that there's a lot of education that needs to go with it. Like I think people forget that you still need to eat. And you need to eat the right food. The problem with Ozempic is you lose your appetite pretty much completely. And then you forget that protein is essential, which is why you see people end up looking almost like skinny fat, like really sunken in, drawn in, where the proper education before going on those drugs and the proper taper off after being on those drugs, or even like maintenance dose of those drugs is critical to doing it the right way. And just like anything, people abuse it, and then you get the horror stories that you hear about. Yeah. But I think doing it properly, I think it's a great benefit to anybody.
What is happening internally when you take Ozempic?
Yeah, I mean, it just slows down the digestion of food, so it makes you feel full longer, and then it reduces your fasted blood glucose levels. For me personally, so that's why I take it. Personally, I used to be a bodybuilder, and I took a lot of growth hormones and different things when I was younger. And it affected, to this day, my fasted blood glucose levels. My fasted blood glucose levels in the morning sometimes are like 110, 120 before I started taking it. And now I take a very small dose and they sit really right around like 70 to 80, which is really healthy for me. That's where it needs to be. So it basically reduces your blood glucose levels as well as slows down digestion, which makes you feel full longer.
So as someone that's super into their health and fitness, what does your typical nutrition look like on a daily basis?
Yeah, so in the morning, I'll train fasted. I'll wake up, I'll have coffee with some like electrolytes in it, train fasted. After I train, my wife makes like a really big like shake for me with like protein, spinach, flaxseed, cheese, all the fucking healthy shit you could put, colostrum, everything in there. And then from there, I'll have like lunch of some sort with just protein and like a vegetable. And then dinner is usually like a steak, some type of red meat, sweet potato, and salad.
Well, given that it suppresses your appetite, do you feel you have to force yourself to eat?
No.
You're hungry.
I don't take enough to do that. I take a very small amount really just to monitor my blood sugar.
Yeah.
And the rest, I'm definitely hungry. Yeah.
Like this morning, you had the thing your wife made, coffee. And is that all you've had at this point?
Yep.
And tonight you'll have like a ribeye or something of that nature.
Yeah, and I'll eat a good dinner. So like my dinner is usually like 10 to 15 ounces of some type of steak, and then I'll have like a pretty substantial amount of sweet potatoes as well as salad. So it's not like a calorie deficit.
What are some nutrition misconceptions that the mainstream is super bullish on that you're actually quite bearish on?
I'm really big into like high fat, high protein, low carb. I'm all about it. Like whole eggs, avocados, full fat steaks. Like I'm all into that. And I've never felt better on that diet. Carbs for me kind of like slow me down.
Yeah,
I feel like I get a little sluggish, like I want to take a nap. Whereas like if I eat like, you know, my breakfast before I started doing the shake, and it's only for convenience reasons, used to be like 4 whole eggs, 4 slices of bacon, a half of an avocado, like all fat and protein. And I felt fucking incredible.
We used to eat a lot of pork.
Dude,
those days are pretty much over.
Yeah. I tried, if I do eat it, I try to get it from like an actual like farmer's market or something like that. Because like turkey bacon just does not taste as good as regular bacon.
No, that's good. I think the high protein, low carb diet has been proven, like this generation more than any, of how effective and efficient you can live eating those kind of foods.
I would be happy if our generation would just stop eating shit out of a bag.
Yeah.
I mean, if I could get them away from just that, like no processed shit, like there's so many beautiful options, like fruit, right? Fruit's candy, like it's sugar, it's
all
amazing.
The candies are based on fruit flavors.
Exactly. So like just have fruit, you know, an apple or fucking grapes or cherries or whatever you like. But like, if there's one thing that I could get away from, like if my son doesn't eat anything out of a package, like I won't even give him the organic, like
the formula,
not the formula, but like the organic, like fruit paste stuff that comes, you know what I'm talking about? Like my nanny makes all of that from scratch. She makes all the fruit. She either like freeze dries it or she'll process it and blend it, like whipped bone marrow. Like that's how he eats.
That's cool.
And it's awesome because he's like super hyper. Like I see him and I see like, I hate to say it, but like some of our friends' kids, and I like watch him, and he's like so much more alert, so much more attentive. He's never been vaccinated. Like it's pretty cool.
There's been talks how like the kids who are taking that formula stuff, that creates the ADHD and all these long-term health problems.
Yeah. I mean, dude, you can get into a whole different topic on like vaccines and all that stuff. But I just believe that like we aren't meant to have that shit in us. And
agreed.
You know, it's worked out.
You know, this is going to be a trigger warning to a lot of people listening, but what are your thoughts on vaping?
I don't know enough about it. I don't think it's great. I mean, I definitely don't think it's great. I also think like the addictive piece of it is really scary. Yeah. Like I see, if you like, for example, if they have to put a notice on an airplane that you're not supposed to vape on an airplane, like it makes me think there's something wrong with it because like if you're that attached or addicted to something, it's probably not good for you.
Well, it's also like the flavors, like the Chinese chemicals within it.
For sure.
It's very sus.
Our generation, we're 24, 25. As growing up through middle school and high school and college, we firsthand saw our generation, our peers grow up with this stick.
Well, Juul.
Started with the Juul. And no one knew what it was, or they just became a thing.
Yeah.
You go out to a party and everyone was drinking.
People thought they were cool.
And now it's become this thing that I think we're going to see in the next 10, 15, 20 years. It turned into something very different, meaning like health problems, because it hasn't been around long enough to study the long-term effects of it.
Agreed.
Well, 10 years ago, you didn't see like 22-year-old girls smoking cigarettes, but now you can't go to a bar without seeing these girls with their vapes,
like in hand all night.
It's like a
all
therapist.
Like doesn't leave their hand. Like it's a constant.
Like phone in one hand, vape in the other hand.
I've seen girls have them on keychains around their necks, like to grab.
It's crazy,
insane. So for me, like that, it's a trigger warning of it's probably not great for you. And to be honest, like knowing like that basically everyone from like cigarette went into the vape world and started those companies makes me realize like it was just like a lateral move to being just as bad as cigarettes.
Another thing with the cigarette companies, from what I've read, I could be corrected or not, but from what I've read, these companies, the cigarette companies, when they started putting limitations and bans on the cigarette companies, they bought into the food companies, and they are the creators of all of the bullshit, ultra-processed food and bags and boxes on the shelves in our grocery store.
Yeah.
And then those companies own the pharmaceutical companies,
it's
it's all a vicious cycle.
So then when it goes back to like your nutrition companies, there's also like a lot of people who think, like ourselves included, that some of those companies put terrible things in their energy drinks.
They do. Absolutely. There's no doubt about it.
Like when you're looking at a label, what are like some things you're looking at? Like if you see this on the label, absolutely do not drink that energy drink.
Yeah, so great one. So one thing that it took us almost probably 2.5 years to nail is our protein RTD. And the reason why is because it's one of the only, if not the only, carrageenan-free protein RTD on the market, and that's like directly indicative of cancer. So like if you look in that ingredient, it is hands down one of the worst ingredients in the world for food. And it's probably going to be banned, hopefully, eventually. I think RFK is kind of going after it. Yeah. But it's also one that makes RTDs taste really good. Like the protein RTDs taste really good. So for us, it was like every time I start a company or every time I start a new product for a series within the company, it's like, what can we do differently, or what can we do that makes something unique, right? Or else we can't bring it to market. There's no reason for it. So for me, it was, I wanted to create an informed sport, which is, tested, banned substance control tested, informed sport, informed protein, grass-fed, carrageenan-free protein RTD. So like most of the time when you put all that together, it just means it's going to taste like shit. Like full transparency, right? Mm-hmm. So it took a really long time. We hired a food science company to help us build this thing out. And when we went to market with it, it was so easy to put it everywhere because we just had to talk about what we did differently. And people were like, yeah, we love this. We're really excited about it. And that's really unique because I would argue, and this is funny, that 4 or 5 years ago, if you went into Walmart or Sam's Club and you spoke to the buyers, they didn't give a shit what was in the products. As long as it was a cool brand and it tasted good. Right, and it was going to make money. But what I will say is over the last 2 or 3 years in those buyer meetings, and I have great relationships with those buyers now, they care. The first thing they'll do is look at the label. Whoa, you got to take this out. You got to take this out. Like there was a point where our protein RTD didn't have all natural natural coloring in it. And we were forced to change it to get it into a place. And I was like, that's actually really cool. Yeah. The fact that was like something that he was dead set on doing for the SKU. So it's really cool to see it starting to shift into even the buyer's hands.
Are you familiar with Brian Johnson?
I am.
The guy who's not trying to die.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on him?
I don't know. I think it's I think there's an extreme to everything, right? And I think if he was doing it and he didn't start a supplement company a year after, I would say maybe it was organic and it was,
it's all to sell his
product. And I think he has validity. I think taking your son's blood and giving it to yourself is a little strange for sure.
His core message is positive.
Yes.
But he takes it to a level where it's not even sustainable for
I get what he's trying to do, because in order to do something no one's ever done, you have to do things no one's ever done.
Agreed.
Right?
Yep.
He's trying to live forever. And he's got a lot of money. He's going through all of his resources to figure out what he needs to do to live forever. And in doing so, he's selling a lot of the products that he's using, or at least he says he's using. Yeah. So it's an interesting thing to watch. I haven't really tapped into it that deeply, but I see him on Instagram. I was just wondering what your thoughts were, because you have a lot of, not similarities, but I like how your mind works, where you think about the products and the biology, where like he's kind of taking that approach, but to a different level.
Yeah, I think that everyone that's influencing in the health and wellness field right now, like even if you look at Peter Attia's, Mark Hyman, and you look at, what's the guy down, Gary Brecka, like all those guys are doing everything they're doing for the right reasons. Do I think some of them at one point or another get off on a tangent that we don't agree with necessarily? Sure, I do. But I think that they do way more positive than they do negative. Agreed. So I think that it's something that is beneficial for most people.
Well, and in this space, everything is essentially finite, meaning everything could be cracked down to a number, the definitive answer. Yeah. So like, with that said, why is there so much debate, right, in this field? It's not subjective.
Yeah.
Everything's objective. There's a final answer to everything in this field.
Well, I think the truth of it is like no one knows, right? Like everyone says, yeah, this is going to make you live forever. This is going to do this. But has anyone ever lived forever? No. So like, how do you can say whatever you want, but like the only real way to measure anti-aging in the human body is telomere lengthening and shortening. And like even that, there's definitely some stigma around. So like if I would say anyone is close to like the heart of anti-aging and longevity, I would say it's Dr. Dr. Khan. Okay. And he's the guy who like just Kim Kardashian just posted with him, did his back, did her stem cell in her spine. And Chloe just posted about, she does the anti-aging protocols with him. And I've had the pleasure of being a partner of Dr. Khan's and meeting him over, several years. Yeah. And like, he doesn't speak in fiction. He only speaks in fact. He really believes in a few things. He's not pushing a ton of stuff. And to me, I like that because he's not doing it for any other reason but to help people. Mm-hmm.
I'm happy you mentioned stem cell. That was something we're like curious about. Why is it considered so taboo in America, stem cell therapy?
Well, it's not taboo. The problem with it is there was so much regulation around The stem cells that are this is actually really good. So I just learned a lot of this because I just partnered with Dr. Khan on a stem cell project, because I don't know if you guys have seen, but the laws just recently changed in Florida to allow the stem cells that used to not be allowed in the US to come into the US. So we're opening a facility actually right in Palm Beach here that we're going to start doing some of those treatments out of. But the stem cells that were, and I could be not 100% accurate on what I'm saying, so I may like use the wrong word, but the general sense is there. So most of the cells that were in the USA before this got passed were considered multipotent. And what that means is they can't turn into every cell needed to recover and repair the body. They could only do it to certain cells, which basically made them only good for really like getting rid of inflammation. So that's why people would do it. They would feel good for a little bit. The inflammation would go away, but the longevity or the long lasting effects of it maybe wouldn't stay.
I see.
Now, the cells that Dr. Khan uses that are very specific to him are called Muse cells. And they're patented by a woman in Japan who built this protocol on how to extend and expand these cells, okay? And these cells are what you would call pluripotent. And what that means is they can change into more cells of the human body to help repair and recover the body. Also means they can pass the blood-brain barrier, and it also means that they won't turn into cancer in the body. So the way that they were expanded and taken out and extracted, there's just a lot of different things that make them very unique. And that's why Dr. Khan has this pedigree of professional athletes and celebrities from all walks of life. If you look at his page, it's like Tony Robbins, Kim Kardashian, Khloe Kardashian, Drake. You know, those are the people that go see him. And it's cool because they're going for all different reasons. Like Kim went for her back. I think, you know, some people went for their hair. It's really cool to see how the cell actually is doing what it's supposed to do. It's the same cell. It's fixing one's back. It's fixing one's face. It's putting hair on someone's head. Magic. So it's kind of cool to see it actually work.
Yeah, I mean, going back, you hear about it, but now like hearing you give like this, like what's actually happening within you, it's pretty crazy that things like that exist.
It's insane. And this is still the forefront of it. Like this is going to change so much because the regulation has opened up where people are going to spend the money now to dive deeper into it. But I would argue that that will be the future of medicine.
What do getting stem cells cost?
It's crazy, man. The pricing is insane. So, and that's why, you know, you'll see people be like, oh, I got stem cell from the med spa down the street and it was, you know, $2,500. And it's like, probably wasn't, you know.
$2,500, that's not even close to what it is.
No, I mean, the IVs that Dr. Khan is doing on these people are north of $100,000.
This is in the United States?
It was in Cabo.
I knew, yeah.
You can do it now in the U.S. So it started in the U.S. basically last week.
Last week.
Yeah, that's when the first lab that makes the cells just finished the first production of
You think
cells.
this trend will continue among other states, other doctors?
I can't imagine it not.
Yeah.
I think it will become a lot more regulated over time, just like anything else that works. But I do believe it's going to be the wealthy people who can afford to do it will not let this technology go away.
How are you and your companies jumping into the stem cell space?
Yeah, so we signed the agreement with Dr. Khan to be exclusive with him. So he's going to be working with Relive, and we're opening that flagship facility in Palm Beach. And hopefully we're going to be the forefront of all of it. So we're hoping to kind of lead the way in the U.S. and really get people on board and educate.
Especially in Florida.
I don't know if you've seen Gary Vee talks about how the life expectancy is just going to keep going up.
Of course.
And up and up. Let's say in 50, 60 years, what do you see the life expectancy being with all this new waves in the health?
I think 125 is very, very reachable.
Really?
Yeah.
Like optimal living? Like.
Yeah, I think, I mean, I don't know if you guys noticed, but like, do you remember when we were younger and we would see old people be like, damn, they're old?
Yeah.
Like you saw a 60-year-old and you remember your grandma and you're like, fuck, she looks old. I look at 60-year-olds today and I'm like, you look 40.
Yeah.
I agree.
The look is different.
It's a very different look. It's a very, you know, more put together. I mean, if you look at even like Kris Jenner, like, she looks like she's,
how old is she?
I think she's like almost 80.
Well, it goes back to also.
That's
like,
great. She looks great.
I think she's mid-70s. It's all about it. It's everything. It's the food, and that's going to be the make or break for people. It's going to be, are you able to sustain, you know, a healthy diet? Are you able to take the right things you need to take? Are you able to afford the peptides and the stem cells and the things that, you know, you need to grow and you need to live? And it's funny. I was thinking about this the other day. I was talking to my wife about it. But you look at like my son, right? My son sleeps fucking 16 hours a day. You know, he sleeps 12 hours at night. He's taking 2 naps during the day. And it really goes back to the art of recovery. Like, I think sleep and recovery are the most essential pieces of anti-aging. I think that stress is a killer of aging. I think the more stressed you are, the more you're going to age. But I think it's understanding those lifestyle, tweaks are really ultimately what changes you.
Well, someone like yourself who has all these businesses, most people would consider that a very stressful life.
Yeah.
How do you manage your stress?
I just don't do shit I don't want to do. I mean, there was a point in my life where I obviously didn't have that ability and I didn't have the luxury of doing that. Yeah. But I also agree that putting yourself through extreme stress for 2 or 3 years to not have to stress ever again, like it's stressful to not be able to pay your bills too. It's stressful to fight with your wife because you can't afford things that you guys want. Like there's stress involved in all of that. So like, do I take a shit ton of stress out of a 2 or 3 year stint and then I can live the rest of my life pretty much stress free? Or do I just be okay with the fact that I'm going to just be stressed forever? And I just chose a lot of stress for a little bit of time.
What is your relationship like with sleep?
Sleep?
Yeah.
It's good. Used to be not good. There were points in my life where I was growing the brand that I didn't sleep for shit. I slept at my office a lot.
Over caffeinate?
Yeah. Oh, fuck yeah, dude. All of it. Over caffeinate, didn't sleep, ate like shit, ate processed. I did whatever I had to do to get the job done. I wasn't able to go cook a healthy meal halfway through the day. I was grabbing a protein bar at the gas station and an energy drink and fucking sending it, But
will you ever do that now?
Yeah, I still do sometimes. Like, I'm not going to lie. Like, there's a point in my life where if I'm, on the road and I got a million things going on. I mean, dude, when I travel, it's so funny. I have a duffel bag. It's full of like organic beef sticks and apples. Awesome. And it's just because when I'm on the go and I'm doing shit, like that's my easiest way to grab snacks. Cool. So I'll grab an apple and I'll grab like an organic beef stick and I'm good. Yeah. And like I pick specific hotels. Like if I'm traveling to New York, I stay at the Equinox Hotel because I know the room service is good. I know the beds are great. I'm going to sleep good. I have those luxuries, but yeah, man, like it was horrible. For that same period that I was stressed out of my mind was the same period that I wasn't sleeping. I was eating. And if I look back at photos of myself, it's fucking clear as day. I look younger now than I did when I was 27, 28 years old. Wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But it's because I wasn't treating myself the way I should.
Outside of the optics, do you feel better?
I've never felt better.
That's great.
Ever in my life. I mean, I started getting into endurance sports like zone 2 training, doing a lot more running, biking, swimming, all that stuff. And I think now I'm the healthiest I've ever been in my life.
Recovery, when it comes back to recovery, something I found that works really well for me is stretching in the pool.
Yeah.
Not swimming, but just like standing in the deeper part and getting a handstand, defying gravity. Yep. I think that's such an underrated way to like go about it.
Anytime you can take load off of your spine in general and just like let your body fully relax is so, people don't realize how underrated that is. Your body's under a load every second of every day.
It's that weight just being pulled
always, down. Whether it be standing, lying down, you're always under a constant load of some sort.
Such a good way to look at it.
So like being totally like free, like even like those deprivation, like sensory deprivation tanks where you're floating. Have you like?
No, I haven't seen that.
So there's like there's places you can go now where they put you in like a tank where it's salt. It's like a saltwater tank, and you float in it, and there's no light, so you basically lose all sense. You lose your smell, your sight, your hearing. It's perfectly quiet, and you literally go into like a sense of bliss because you don't. It feels like you're floating in eternity.
Do you meditate?
No, I don't.
What do you do to slow down?
Nothing.
Yeah.
Play with my son.
Sleep.
Yeah. If I get with my son, I slow down.
That's meditative.
For sure.
Is that where you find you're the most present?
Yeah. Yeah. When I put my phone down and I'm like doing whatever he wants to do, like whether it be playing with a toy or, me pushing him in his car or like whatever that is, that's my like time.
It's interesting you say that. Do you think the pace you're moving 1,000,000 miles per hour is sustainable?
No. Absolutely not. But this is the second part of that journey of like doing what I have to where I can stop fully and do whatever I want forever.
And how about when you're 45? Where do you hope you are in that regard?
I'm done at 40, dude.
Done at 40?
Done at 40. Yeah, that's my promise I made to my wife and to my son that I'm not going to work after 40. I'm done. Cool. Yeah. It'll be the hardest decision I ever do. It will be the hardest thing I ever have to do because I love work and I love being busy and I love, being productive with my time. But I also need to understand that like, my son is the person who deserves all of my time and my wife. Those are the two people who deserve it all. And the amount that I invest, I need to just switch my philosophy of understanding that being an amazing father and being present with him and investing into him is a job, and like I need to be there for him to do that.
Well, a great quote I read recently is that most people die at 25, yet live till they're 75. Agreed. How can we avoid that?
I think there's a part of me that feels like you always need to like still be a kid. I think like when you stop like doing the shit you love and you stop doing the things that you enjoy is when you kind of die. And I see it more so when people like retire and they just like become sedative. Like I hate to say this, but my grandma, for example, she moves to Florida. She won't leave her house. And it's not because she can't. She's fully capable to do whatever she wants, but she's just like in a rut of like, I'm just going to sit, like I'm at this age, and you get in your own head. It's like, well, I'm 50, I should be doing this, or I'm 40 and I should be doing this. And it's like, fuck that. Like do whatever you want. Like one of my partners in one of my companies, he's 62, 65 years old. The dude skis, snowboards faster than me. And he's super successful, four-wheeling, snowmobiling, skiing, skydiving. Like he just does all the stuff. And if I look at him, I'm like, fuck, that's how I want to live at that age. Because if you see him, you're like, this guy's 40 max, 35 max. He lives like the lifestyle of a 25-year-old. And I think it's like the stigma of just doing what you've traditionally always seen. It's like, oh, well, it's supposed to be like this at this age, and it's supposed to do this. It's not.
No.
You can make it whatever the fuck you want it to be.
Well, it reminds me, our grandmother, she's 84, and she's acting like she's 54.
Yeah.
She's go, go, go.
Yep.
They're flying to New York today to see a play,
Yep.
right? She doesn't feel her age, nor does she look it.
Yeah.
And because she doesn't feel like it, she isn't.
I mean, dude, if you really think about age is just a chronological timeline of how old you are.
If we never came up with it, it's nothing.
No one would know anything about age. Like, truly, like, your age should be measured by the function of your body.
Yeah.
It should not be measured by time on Earth.
They're doing that now, too.
I know. They have biological, exactly.
They're telling you,
yeah,
like your biological age or whatever it is.
As it should be. And there should be competitions about who can reverse it. Like, that's the type of shit I want to be involved in, you know?
You should start like a competition for that.
That would be dope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Any future you see with you potentially starting your own podcast?
Probably. Yeah. I think once I have more time on my hands, like I'm very big on like if I'm going to do something, I need to do it all in, and it has to be perfect. And I don't have the time. I still have a lot of stuff on my plate with work, but I think once, maybe that when I'm done, when I'm 40 and, I'm done working, that would be a cool thing to do, to fulfill my time, fulfill that like itch that I get to want to do something once a week, doing a podcast. Like I can see myself doing something like that.
And I see it through your vlog. You have a lot to give.
Yeah. Right? I love it. And the truth of the matter is like, I'm going to start doing like a seminar, maybe like once or twice every quarter, where I bring people together, like entrepreneurs, and we do like a really cool collaborative effort on just like solving problems, fixing issues. This isn't for like people who want to be entrepreneurs. This is going to be for people who are already doing it, right? They're already in it. They just need guidance and help from others who have already gone through it. And I started with Mentor Pass about 8 months ago. And to be honest, it was the most rewarding thing I've ever done. I loved helping people. I love like the feeling they get after a call. I love preventing people from making the same mistakes that I made when I was going through the same, stage of my life. 90% of who I mentor are in the CPG space, which is great because I obviously know that space really well. But again, business is business, and it's really unique to see how you can fix like a business that you would never think you could help, but it's all the same. It's just different kind of like names for different things, but marketing, spend, payroll, EBITDA, CM1, CM2, it's all the same stuff, right? So that would be something that I would probably do too, but just to like help.
Do you get the same internal fulfillment from a really good vlog as you do from building and scaling businesses?
No,
No.
I don't think that it's difficult to make really good vlogs. I think that if I had more time, I could probably really own that space pretty quickly. But I'm also wanting to be fully transparent, and I don't want to do it just to get the views, right? Like when I look at YouTube and I look at vlogging, I look at it in two ways. I can, one, lean into it and just blow the channel up as fast as possible by using, different types of things to get like clickbaity titles, like going all in on material shit. But like it's not fulfilling me. Like that doesn't help me help you, right? So like for me, it's like I'm going to go the slower route, and I'm just going to do real life, day in the life vlogs of what I do on a daily basis, and it's going to help people. Yeah. And they're not going to realize it at first because they're going to think it's the boring, monotonous stuff of a day-to-day life of someone like me. But what they don't realize is that's the type of shit that gets you the cool stuff, right? So like that reverse psychology of, like maybe you see the cool cars, and maybe that's something that eventually you may want, but this is how you get that stuff.
Yeah.
And it's been really rewarding to see the reactions of the people who are watching. So it's been cool.
Have you become a better businessman as you've gotten closer with God?
Yes. Yep.
Can you share why?
Yeah, I think that there's a point in time, like when I was younger and I wasn't like close to God, that it was like by any means necessary type of thing. And I think that when you have a relationship with God and like you're waking up every day and, you know, I don't look at it as like I'm communicating with God. I almost look at it as God wants me to be the best role model for my son that I can possibly be. And like every decision I make now is based off of like, is this the right decision for my son? Is this the right decision for the Lord? Is this the right decision for the people who I'm influencing? And it's been I don't want to say it's made me better, but it's been so much easier because I know exactly what to do. I don't question it at all. You know, before it would be like, should I do that? I could really get ahead if I did this, but it's not the right thing to do. And now it's like, no, there's no question. It's you know what's right and you do what's right, and that's it.
It's like what's meant to be will be.
That's it.
Well, I feel like a good way to look at it too, there's so much stigma with all different religions and different titles, God, Allah, whatever you want to call them. And I feel like at the end of the day, God is like the voice that gives you all the good energy and the right things to do, where like people look at the devil or hell or whatever you want to call it as like the bad things. And if you follow that good, the light over the dark, you'll lead a good life.
I agree. And it's so cool too, because like I've said this like a lot. It's very hard for someone as analytical as me to like fall into religion because like I want to hold it. Like I want it to be tangible. I want there to be like physical proof of it. And granted, like I've went the whole rabbit hole, right? Like I went back through all the research and how it's the most chronologically researched and, written down event in the history. There's been no one who's indicated that it didn't happen, but it's so cool to go to church and like, because at first I didn't go to church. I would start just watching it on, YouTube, it's Frederick and stuff like that. And when I went to church for the first time is when I was like, fuck, this is real. Like this is awesome. And you feel it. Like, I don't know how else to describe it except you feel it. I don't know if it's the Holy Spirit or whatever it is, but I feel it in me. And I feel that doesn't happen unless there's something there.
No, yeah, it's definitely a communal feeling because you go in there as an individual and you leave with everyone's energy because it's a group of people and everyone's coming for a feeling or to be spoken to or to speak, and they leave with that feeling, hopefully what they wanted or even greater.
It's also beautiful in the fact that like knowing that doing the right thing is the right thing to do and you don't think after that.
True.
Like you're not like, what's going to happen? It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
This is the right thing to do. God's got you. Like if you're doing it and it's supposed to be that way, you're going to do it, and whatever happens, and it's in God's hands.
I saw a great quote today about worrying. The person said, worrying is like paying a debt you don't owe.
Yeah.
So why would you worry?
Yep. It's very true.
It's not worth it.
I love that quote.
So good.
Yeah.
It's not worth it.
Dom, this has been pretty special. I know we've been going back and forth for a while, so to make this happen here, it went like that. It always does, bro. When the good ones always go like that. Yeah. So appreciate you taking the time, giving and sharing your energy. Anyone that wants to keep up with you, your vlogs, your businesses, what's the best way to go about that?
Social media is probably Instagram. You can find everything from there. It's at, and then my last name, so Iacovone. And then I kind of post my blogs and the links and stuff like that. But I would say mostly Instagram. I actually still answer my Instagram DMs, the ones that are appropriate enough to answer. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, brother.
Of course, man. Thank you guys for having me.
It was fun.